Alrighty. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce webinar on Payroll Protection Plan PPP Forgiveness and Resources for Small Businesses. I'm Olivia Rios at the Los Angeles Latino Chamber of Commerce, and today we are thrilled to have partnered up with California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce to bring you vital information regarding PPP forgiveness application, EIDL, shutter venue operators, California Relief Grant, and if time permits, walk through the loan forgiveness application. If you have not completed your application or were puzzled on how to complete it, this webinar is for you. We know that filling the application is a bit daunting, so this webinar will walk you through the process. So if you haven't already grabbed your lunch, we can begin. So after the presentation, we'll be able to provide you with a copy of the PowerPoint, so be ready to take away some golden nuggets. I'd like to introduce you real quickly to our chairman, Daryl Salcetta. Can you say a few words, Daryl?
Yes, hi, good afternoon. My name is Daryl Salcetta. I'm newly elected chairman of the board, the LA Latino Chamber of Commerce. I want to welcome all you small businesses, and I know time is of the essence, so I'm hoping that this presentation that we're doing on how to fill out your very important loan forgiveness, the PPP loan forgiveness program, I'm hoping that pay good attention to it, because this is really going to help you out. And again, welcome and thank you.
And so just before we introduce Oscar, if you have a couple of minutes to take some pictures and post them on our social media, use the hashtag handle of hashtag LALCC and post it on social media like Facebook and Instagram, we would truly appreciate it. So, so today I'm here with Oscar Garcia, the director of HCC, and he's also an associate advisor with the Small Business Development Center. So Oscar, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the kind words and introduction. Edith, are you presenting? Let me get this. I want to share my information with you guys. I'd like to introduce Edith Gomez. She's the administrator of our program, and she is going to talk a little bit about the housekeeping and disclaimers and also the guidelines of this webinar. Edith?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This presentation will be shared after the webinar. If you have any questions, please make sure to include them in the Q&A, not in the chat room, especially if they are questions that you have about the presentation today. Any other concerns or questions, you may be able to put them in the chat room. If all the information is changing, this presentation has the most up-to-date information. And just a reminder, this is an educational presentation webinar. The information is just going to be to educate you and give you some details, but this is not going to be replacing a one-on-one session with a business expert. We recommend you to have a session with a representative, someone who can guide you through the whole application process and provide you more legal assistance.
All right. Thank you, Edith. Appreciate it. Again, this presentation is to help you guide through these loan programs. I know everybody is overwhelmed regarding the California Relief, the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Plan, the EIDL, the SBA Relief Fund, the shutter venue. So this whole thing has come at once. So it can be overwhelming. So buckle up, because we're going to be talking about all these programs, these loans, and these resources available for you. And also, I'm going to walk you through the brand new application for the PPP loan forgiveness. Okay, so let's get started without further ado. For those of you who haven't applied yet for the California Relief Grant, this grant, it's very important for small businesses because it doesn't require a lot of financial information from your business, okay? So, and I'm gonna walk you through it really quick on this one. The Run 2 has opened up on Tuesday, February the 2nd, but we only gonna have a 6-day window. So it's gonna close on February the 8th at 6 p.m. Now, The notifications for selection for this grant that can range from 5,000 to 25,000 will start on February the 11th through the 18th. There is a waiting list notice again that will be sent out to everybody who did not make it to the second round on February 22nd. And the non-selection, the people that says, I'm sorry, you do not qualify for this loan. There are businesses that will not qualify for this loan due to the fact that they didn't have, they didn't meet the requirements, the application was incomplete, they didn't do it on time, and so forth. This is not a first come, first served grant. It is based on need, demographics, and businesses served. As you might know, there is $475 million allocated to small businesses through this pandemic times. We have round one, which just ended again. Number two, round two just started 2 days ago. It will go for the next 6 days. So what is this all about? Well, that means that everybody, it might be eligible. Most of the business will be eligible to basically take advantage of this program, because it only requires that you must be in business before June 1st, 2019. Would have made $1,000 minimum in gross revenues for that year. Okay, and guess what? For profit and non-profit businesses are also open for this loan. So you must have made $1,000 minimum, no more than $2.5 million. And the way the money is distributed, or the grants are, if you make $1,000 to $100,000, you will be eligible for $5,000. Annual gross of 100,000 to 1 million is 15,000. Over 1 million to 2.5 million is $25,000 grant. So this is money that you don't have to pay. This is money that is for you to help you reopen your business, to help you buy PPE, that means protection equipment for your employees, gloves, masks, and coveralls and booties to cover your shoes, or anything else to adapt your business to the guidelines of COVID-19 regulations. Okay. Once again, round two has just started, and and it will be open until February the 8th at 6 p.m. Now, there you will be receiving a copy of this this PowerPoint. It would have all the links that you need of everything that we're going to be talking about. Ideally, we want you to go ahead and apply through our portal, and I'll explain that for you in a minute. The application. So if those of you that applied already for the California Relief Grant and you are on the waiting list, but you made a mistake, you need to go back into your portal. Important. Remember which portal or which partner you applied through, because if you apply through our portal, California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce, and then you go into Lindustry direct, your credentials for login will not work. So we don't have access to your files. We don't have access to change your password or anything like that. You would have to call Lindustry for the technical assistance, okay? If you already applied and you're on the waiting list and your application is in pending because you need to upload those documents, make sure you do that as soon as possible, okay? Incomplete applications is only gonna delay the process, and you might not be able to go ahead and qualify this round. But make sure that you apply for this grant, upload the documentations, get all the credentials. Important, remember which partner you applied through, and that's very essential. All right, the portal. Ideally, again, there's the California Relief Grant, careliefgrant.com. That is the main portal where they have videos, guides on how to apply, how to upload the documents, what to look for, step-by-steps. So we have all these resources available for you through this portal right there. So there's no need to duplicate what we already made and created. What I want to tell you is that if you have any questions regarding this grant, regarding the process, regarding the benefits, don't know how to do it, what is it you need to do? Couple of things. You need to contact our chamber, or you need to call the LA Latino Chambers. So we want to make sure that all this collaboration is coming, it's available for you, all the resources. We're located in Sacramento, California, and you guys are down south, but we serve the entire state of California. So if you want help, two things: you can call 916-444-2221, and we will answer your call and set up a meeting with you. You can send an email to Edith, our program administrator, directly to her, or you can send an email to our appointment mail, which is consulta@cahcc.com. Or you can call the Ask SBDC, Loans Espanol, Ask SBDC. There's information available for you so you can have access to our information and consultants to help you and guide you through this whole thing. So PPP versus EIDL. All right, PPP, if you haven't applied for PPP on the first round, we need to start working on it. Get you prepared for this loan. If you applied for a PPP before and you haven't gotten your loan forgiven, we're going to talk about that in a minute, and you can apply for a second round PPP, okay? Number one, let's look at those things. The EIDL, what is the EIDL? Is the Emergency Economic Injury Disaster Loan from the SBA as well. Let's talk about those two. PPP is a forgivable loan. This is money that can be forgiven with the 1% interest if it isn't forgiven due to the fact that you maybe didn't comply with the rules and regulations, which I'm going to tell you in a minute. It has a 2 to 5 year term. You can use these funds for payroll costs, mortgage interest, rent, utilities, expenses. So 2 things really quick to remember: payroll, operating expenses. If I can use those, the funds for that, payroll, operating expenses, you almost guarantee that your loan will be forgiven, okay? You need to apply to an SBA approved lender. We have a list of all the approved lenders. We can help you with the approved lender, and we'll also walk you through the application as well if you need to. No collateral required for this loan, so it's very simple, straight to the point, funds, access to capital, so you can continue with your business. EIDL is the, again, economic injury disaster loan. This loan is not forgivable. However, it's a 3.5 interest for profits and 2.5 for non-profits. So they lower a 0.25% from last year. It's a 30-year term loan. You can use it for working capital, inventory, fixed debt payments, and other normal business expenses. You need to apply directly through the SBA through their portal. Any monies or loans over $25,000, you need personal guarantee and also collateral. If you have partners in your organization with 20% or more of ownership, then they all need to apply for this loan, okay? So understand this: if I'm gonna, you cannot qualify for all these 3 grants, for the grant, for the grant relief, for the PPP, and also for the EIDL. You can have 3 basically products to help you restart your business and move on forward with your business in only 1 loan, okay? I will do this. For the PPP, I will stick with the payroll and operating costs. And for the EIDL, I will definitely use everything for operating costs, inventory, and to redo my business to meet the standards of the new way of doing business. That way I can secure, make sure that I can, my loan is forgiven through the PPP. All right, so regarding this, the eligibility, you can apply for a second draw PPP, like I said, but the only thing, as a comparison of last year, we only have 2 more months. The whatever's rest of February until March 31st. That's it. Once it's gone, it's gone. All right. You make sure if you're applying for the second time, which it's a very important detail. If you're applying for the second round, you need to make sure that you put your SBA loan application number from the first draw, from the first time. That way they can match your information already. They can merge it from the first round. Okay, you must, the maximum amount that you can borrow is $2 million comparison to the first draw where you can actually ask for $10 million, up to $10 million. All right, this one, it allows more opportunity for small business to apply because the requirement is to have 300 employees or less. 25% reduction in gross receipts, okay? and any quarter, between any comparable quarter from 2019 and 2020. So it gives you the flexibility to choose the threshold on which one you're going to be relying on to apply. Meaning this, I will use my highest quarter from 2000 and comparable, of course, from 2019, and will compare it to 2020, the same time period. That way, I will ensure that it's quarter per quarter, and I have to show 25% reduction in gross receipts. For a lot of people, they returned the money from the PPP because they said they were unsure that they were going to be forgiven, or they didn't use all the money, so they returned the money. All right, so you have to tell us whether, if you previously returned money, okay, then they will authorize you to utilize again the whatever remainder of the money, the loan that you requested, or they would go ahead and process a new one. It's up to the bank. You must have been in business February 15, 2020. All right, and I'm gonna go to the second draw application because he changed a little bit from the last one. Okay, so all lenders can participate starting January 19. So that means that priority was given to the CDFIs. Okay, so it's the small lenders organizations that serve really, really, very small businesses. However, some of the lenders, they dropped. Some of the lenders, they said, we're not participating this time around. Even if you might have gotten a loan from your bank, they might say, we're not participating this time around. There's some loans that are coming, the banks that are coming on board that are saying, we can help, but you have to open up an account. Ideally, what we want you to do is just contact your bank. If you apply already for a PPP, contact your bank and let them know that you are interested on the second draw application. Okay, so I'm gonna go through the application in a minute. Okay, the forgiveness. All right, so the forgiveness term is that all the loan proceeds were spent on payroll costs and other eligible expenses. That means that 60% went to your payroll. That is the minimum requirement, 60-40, 60% of payroll costs, okay, of all the compensation that you did for your employees, okay, and 40% for operating costs. Right here, the new form, it just came out yesterday. I just got it. You'll be the first one to know and to see it, that you can utilize it now. The loans under $150,000 will be one simple form forgiven. Boom, you're gonna submit that application. However, there are other businesses that will not fit or will not be able to use this for a simple forgiveness form, are those businesses that have mixed employees, part-time, full-time, laid off in the employees, hire new employees, because that requires payroll, reports on taxes. It will require benefits, compensation, and this will actually require for you to work directly with your accountant or your payroll specialist as well. So that's the reason why we can only help you go through this form with the simple form that just came out. The other ones we can tell you more or less one-on-one. If you need to understand fully, we can take the time to explain it to you on a one-to-one. It's a lot of information to dissect. It's a lot of information to absorb in this 1 hour and a half webinar. Okay, so the forgiveness, and this is what the terms are, and this is what makes it a little bit difficult, what I was talking to you, because the full-time employees, FTE, ¿verdad? Or part-time, meaning this: if you have 4 employees at the beginning of the term, 2 were part-timers and 2 were full-timers, then per this regulation, 2 part-times makes 1 full-time. So in reality, per the guidelines, you don't have 4 employees. You have 3 employees only. So, and then we need to do the average for the term of either 8 weeks or 24 weeks, whichever you chose. Okay. Another thing, if you reduce the salary of your employees, or you increase the salary of employees more than 25%, well, there's another calculation that you have to use, and that's the reason why there comes this safe harbor. Safe harbor means that it kind of a shield of that helps you stay within the guidelines. That's why it's a little bit complicated, because everybody's situation is going to be different. So there is no reason, there's no way I can walk through the application generically if it doesn't apply to you without me knowing your numbers, without me knowing your workforce, what you did, who you hire, who you let go, when did they come in, and who did you pay, how did you pay. So it's a little bit time consuming, but we're able to kind of talk about it with you. If you need to, we have the information right there. But you're gonna need your accountant, your payroll specialist, and your financial reports. How to calculate your loan? Very simple, very easy. Okay, so if there's a lot of people that are employed for themselves. Okay, so what you can do, even you as a company, you can get your payroll for 12 months. Okay, from the calendar 2019, and then you're going to go ahead and divide it by 12. So that's how you get your average monthly payroll amount. Okay, and then you're going to multiply that by 2.5, and that will be your loan amount. That's how simple it is. Okay, so very important to understand the calculation, and I'll walk you through in a second, and when the application. The limitations for this, and this is what we were talking about. Okay, 2.5 times the amount of your average payroll if you are in the first round, and if you are not in the healthcare or hospitality, you're not on restaurants and so forth, because those industries, they're allowed to claim or to request 3.5 the times of the average monthly payroll. All right, so again, normal business, 2.5 times the amount of your average payroll. That's your loan request. Specialty or other businesses that were heavily impacted, healthcare, restaurants, hairdressers, beauty salons, massage parlors, bars, and all that stuff, they will go ahead and they can apply 3.5 times. All right, so all depends on how you are classified based on the code 72, which code 72 basically it says hotels, casino, food services as an example of that. Maximum amount of the loan that you can request is $2 million on the second draw. The first draw, still you're eligible to apply up to $10 million. How can you use the money and the proceeds? Obviously, like I said, allowable 60% on payroll costs. The rest of it will be on interest if you have a mortgage on your building, rent, utilities, or any other information or expenses that you might have after or during your course of doing businesses. Okay. Now, remember what I said. Ideally, I wanted to make sure that my loan, it is forgiven fully. So I want to concentrate on what matters the most for my business, which is salary and operating costs. That is the reason why I want to utilize this money wisely, because I don't want to be in the middle of whether you meet the qualifications or not. Some people, trust me, got the loan, they went ahead and did something else, they got on a vacation, they start remodeling their business, but now they end up with the loan because they didn't meet the guidelines. Well, what do I mean by payroll? Well, salary, wages, commission. When it comes to commission, if commission, you get commission and bonuses. If it is a natural, normal business or normal practice in your business to give commissions or bonuses, but then that's included in your payroll. If it is, and if it's casual, don't include it. Okay, any compensation, cash or tips, whatever. If you're in a restaurant, you put everything in the pot and then you distribute it, and then you report it. Well, that's obviously included. If you pay vacation, parental leave, or medical leave due to COVID-19, that's also covered under the payroll guideline. This is new for this second time around. If you had to dismiss somebody or have to give them severance or something, That's fine. Group health now includes basically life insurance, dental insurance, vision insurance. All that is already covered if you pay the premiums for them. Retirement benefits, if you contribute to the 401k, then that's fine. All the state and local payroll taxes are fully included in the payroll costs. So now, as you can see, when you are asking for the forgiveness, who's going to have all this information? Your payroll specialist and your accountant. So I have no idea on how I can actually assist you, and if everybody's situation is totally different. But if you have a one-to-one with your information, they can probably try to figure it out the best way. But your allies, your best resource is your legal counsel, accountant, and payroll specialist. Additional expenses for this new program. If you pay, for example, with the business, new way of doing business, you have to buy a new software, new equipment. You need to use cloud computing, or someone to do the human resources, or an accountant to help you go through this whole thing. Well, that is actually part of the expenses. Property damage, with all this manifestations and stuff like that, and social disruptions. If your business suffer any loss and your claim with insurance was not accepted because they don't cover, that type of activities, but you can actually pay for the damage with the money for the PPP. That is new to it. Also, you can also the supplier. If you have a contract with the vendor where you have a set amount of payments and you're behind with the contractor, but you can use that to help catch up a little bit. All right, I will not use it to pay the whole debt. Okay, cover expenses for PPE. Again, personal protective equipment, coveralls. You need to go ahead and redo your by plexiglass, to conduct business, whatever expenses to meet COVID-19 guidelines, that is also included for the next forgiveness. That's how you can use the PPP money. 60% payroll, 40% operating costs. So all that goes into operating costs. Okay, other major updates regarding this. Last year, when you apply for the forgiveness, the EIDL advance money, the $1,000 or up to $10,000, you would have to pay that or deduct it from the PPP. So if I got $1,000 advancement on the EIDL loan and then apply for PPP for $10,000, but I got a $1,000 advancement, my PPP will only forgive $9,000 because I still would have to owe the $1,000 advancement that I got. With this new guideline and regulation, you don't have to go ahead and claim it anymore. It's totally forgiven, okay? If for whatever reason on this program, and I want to jump into I'm going to wait for the next slides. The cover period also changed. Last year, you either have to use 8 weeks or 24 weeks. Now, this time around, you can use 8 weeks or 24 weeks and up to 24 weeks. All right, so it's up to you. Now you have the flexibility to utilize your payroll money or your PPP money based on your payroll, based on the amount of time that you need to go ahead and utilize. It helps you, allows you to plan ahead rather than last year when you got the money in May, well, you have to finish it in 8 weeks. So by the end of June, basically, beginning of July, you would have to have spent that money, even though you were shot. Well, how do you do that? Now, this time around, it gives you the opportunity, the flexibility to do that, okay? Taxes. All right. Expenses. Expenses made with forgiving PPP loan proceeds can be deducted from the taxes, okay? Now, the gross income, those are required to report, but not included not include what the PPP loan was forgiven, not that amount, okay? When you do your gross business, does not include the forgiveness of certain loans. Example, the PPP or the idle. All right. There will be other, you will get a 1099 or a form stating, because you have to submit the W-9, and you will get a W form stating that you received that amount of grant and you have to pay taxes on that. But you don't, on some of them, you don't have to. All right. Edith, I think we have a question right now. So I'm going to pause to make sure that we are on track and we make sure that we're answering the questions.
The question that we have is from Gavi. Is the simple form you present from the round 1 of PPP, or is only for the second round?
The forgiveness round, the forgiveness is, they came out with this new form. We got it yesterday, is the new simple one form. Remember last year they stated, okay, we're going to forgive all the loans under $50,000. But this time around, they said, no, we're just going to forgive $150,000 and less to make it easy and make more funds available for people. So the banks, they waited until yesterday. We got it yesterday, but they released the form. So the banks are now going to be, I'm assuming, updating their platform so they can actually go ahead and apply that form for the forgiveness. The forgiveness is for round 1. For the forgiveness for the second round, is yet to see. They might use the same one. They might not use the same one. All right. So, but yeah, the new form, we're going to be utilizing the new form, hoping that the banks are updating their platform and reflecting this new form, because right now, as of 2 days ago, I went in and they still show the old form.
Okay. We have another question. Can you use your Schedule C from 2020 to calculate average monthly payroll for the second round PPP?
Okay, what they're asking you is to go ahead. Yeah, it's a comparable quarters. Okay, I will definitely, they would actually want you to use the 2019. All right, 2019, because that's what you use the most. And 2020, you probably didn't have a lot, I'm assuming. 2019, that's when you were still functioning, you were still open, you were still operating. So what you can do on Schedule C, you're a sole proprietor, self-employed, but you do Schedule C. What you do is this. If you don't have record of payroll and you have no record that you pay yourself or anything like that, so you go ahead and use Schedule C, line 31. Schedule C, go down to line 31, and you're gonna see the net profit. Once you look at the net profit amount, you divide that amount by 12. Divide that amount divided into 12, and that will give you the monthly average payment. That monthly average, you will go ahead and multiply it by 2.5. And that will be, if you are self-employed, you're not on a bar, or you're not doing a restaurant or anything like that, 2.5. And if you meet the qualifications for basically a restaurant or healthcare or beauty, then you use it 3.5. But if it's a normal business like a roofer, carpenter, salesperson, real estate agent, whatever, you go ahead and look at the line 31 of Schedule C, net profit divided into 12, multiply it by 2.5 or 3.5 according to your industry, and that will be your loan amount. Okay, and I'm going to walk you through it with the application for this. All right,
We have a few more questions.
Yes.
They are wondering if we're going to be providing a copy of the presentation.
Yes.
And also if the video is going to be uploaded somewhere, and if we can share the link.
Correct. Yeah, this presentation is being recorded, and the presentation will be shared with you guys. It has the links of all the applications, all the forms that we're going to go through. Okay.
Okay. We have 3 more questions, Oscar.
Yeah, go ahead.
One of them is from Marisela. In round 1, there was a rush for funds that run out. Is round 2 properly funded?
I didn't hear the first part of the question, please.
So round one, there was a rush for funds that ran out. Is round two properly funded?
Well, according to what we hear, it's $284 million, and now I believe it is properly funded because the requirements are more targeted, or the money is targeted to smaller businesses.
Okay, we have another question from Rosie. Just to confirm, if I paid a contractor under 1099, those expenses fall under operation cost, not payroll?
No, they don't fall under operation costs. Operating costs, it's something related to utilities, the rent, your mortgage interest, anything that has to do to operate your business, but not to hire contractors. Because you give them a 1099, so it doesn't work that way.
Another question that we have is, does the 60% payroll expenses apply to the first round or just the second round?
It applies to both. That is the guideline, that's the rule, and applies to both. What has changed from the first and the second round, it changed the way you utilize the funds, which it gives you a little bit more leadway on how to utilize it, rather than limit you to 8 weeks or different type of expenses. Right now, the second round is a little bit relaxed, and the rule of 60-40 still applies to both rounds.
Okay.
That's it.
What about workers' comp insurance? Is that considered payroll expenses?
Well, before it wasn't, and no one ever said that it was included. I know some people, and again, don't take my word for it, some people included workers' compensation and they got through it. However, I don't know if that's going to be part of the cost, operating cost, or the payroll. Okay, so as far as I know, it wasn't allowed the last time. So I will not say yes, do it, because some people did it. But it isn't in the guidelines, the workers' compensation. It doesn't say anywhere workers' compensation. It does say health insurance costs, vision, dental, 401k, family leave, sick leave. That is fine, but not workers' comp.
Okay, we have more questions. I'm not sure if you want me to read them or you want.
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and if you guys wanna ask the question directly to Oscar, please raise your hand and we will be able to open the microphone so you can ask your questions. One of them is one eligible if you have a physical address for a virtual office in California?
You have a virtual office and you have a physical, I mean, they're not looking at addresses, they're looking at your payroll, if you have payroll, if you're applying for the PPP, or if you're self-employed, if you're in business. What they're looking at is your economic impact based on your activities and your business. Although you have to show your income taxes.
Okay, another question. If you are self-employed and yourself are not on payroll, do you qualify for anything?
Okay, if you're self-employed, which is this is the case of our people, is that they don't pay themselves, they just use draw. But the money that they take from their business, they don't even record either. So that's the reason why, if you're self-employed and don't have a way to look at any to prove that you pay yourself or anything like that, that's why you look at the Schedule C, okay, line 31, divided by 12 into 12 and multiply by 2.5. And that's basically 2.5 months of what it will be paid to yourself. So that will be the loan amount. But if you pay yourself and you have a way to prove that you did that and it shows in your taxes, obviously you can.
Okay, the other question is, if I am a sole prop, can I include my pay on payroll expenses?
It will not, yes, if you're a sole prop and you have way to record and to prove that you pay, for example, if I pay myself $5,000, every month I make a check from my company payable to Oscar Garcia, $5,000, and now on the memo, I'm gonna put salary. I'm gonna get that $5,000 and I'm gonna deposit it into Oscar Garcia account. If you have a way to show that, that's fine. If you have no way of showing, then you have to use the genetic, which is the Schedule C, line 31.
Okay, we also have Ken. If you can open your microphone, please.
Yes, I believe it's open.
Yes, go ahead.
So I'm reconfirming that the payroll on the first round was 75%, I thought, and now I'm understanding it's 60%. Is that correct? It's a repeat question.
Right, Ken. What happened is that when it first originated, it was 75%.
Okay.
Then they relaxed. The regulation to make it 60 because a lot of businesses they didn't have enough money to operate.
Great. And then the second part of my question is that we were told that the 8-week, this is all about the first round, that the 8-week in the first round got extended to 24 weeks and that you could spend the money over 24 weeks in the first round. Is that correct?
Correct. That's alternative payroll period.
Okay.
Well, that's the reason when you look at it, I mean, a lot of people, they say, well, you know what? I got the money in May, so I can't finish it by the end of June. So you
Okay.
use that alternate paid payroll.
Can I ask another question, which
Yes,
is,
please.
so for nonprofit organizations, a lot of the funding sources are telling them that if they use PPP loan money for their programs, that's considered double dipping and therefore not a expense to the county or federal or state contract. Now, the government at that point was going to say that when the loan forgiveness occurred, the business was going to have to consider that as income. I understand that you've made that clear now that that's not going to be included from income. Do you know if providers to nonprofit have changed their stance or any thoughts on that?
Yeah, and until you get full forgiveness, it's still in the books.
Right, but when I was told that by providers of ours, we provide services to the county and the state and the federal, and the provider said, no, if you use PPP loan money for our program, that's not considered an expense to our program at any point in time. And it's like, even if I don't get loan forgiveness, then they said, well, maybe if you don't get loan forgiveness, but if you use it right, you will. And so therefore, we're not going to let you deduct that as an expense because then we're going to consider it double dipping, that you would be getting the money from two funding sources. And
that would have to be a kind of an accounting, the way you have the account set up, and the way you use your expenses and the way you track your PPP money.
Right. So I guess it's okay for the county to basically say PPP money that you spend on our contracts is going to benefit us, the county, not you, the nonprofit organization trying to provide services. That it almost didn't make sense that they would take that stance.
Right. So in this case, Ken, what I would probably use for the PPPs is you provide maybe consultation to the county or services to the county. I will definitely use that for operating expenses rather than to, let's say that I have a consultant going to the county, I get the PPP money to pay my consultant, and then you get the contract to pay your business. So what I would probably use the PPP, if I can, I will use it all in expenses. I will make sure that it includes my rent, my utilities, my mortgage, the employee benefits, anything that related to payroll rather than, to operating costs rather than to paying any employees if I can. That's what that would be my strategy.
Right, but then if I do that and I don't meet the 60% threshold on payroll, then I thought I'm out and I get no forgiveness. So I thought I must spend 60% on payroll or payroll related costs. And if I don't do that, then I'm not eligible for forgiveness.
No, you can use up to 60%, up to 60% on payroll and up to 40%. So you can use all the money to payroll.
Right, but if I don't use 60%, I'm not understanding the 60% rule. I thought the 60% rule was a minimum because it was the payroll protection program, and that if I spent less than the 60 or 75%, I was not in compliance with the forgiveness rules. And so I thought my understanding is it was a minimum, not a maximum or not an option, that I must spend 60% on payroll or I will not be subject to forgiveness. Am I not getting that right?
No, you are getting it right. That is exactly correct. Because on the form, when you ask for the loan, that's what you're committing to, retention of employees. You are definitely correct.
Right. So when I spend 60% of my money on staff for programs, then those programs are telling me, thanks for giving us money, and you now just are not going to be reimbursed for all that payroll money you spent on our program. Thanks a lot, which doesn't seem right, but that's what the county told us of Los Angeles.
Right. Well, you know what? I'm going to check into that, because what you have two words right here that they don't go together: programs and payroll. Programs is the programs that you develop the program.
So I'm asking a lot of questions. Is it possible that I could get a contact information and you can help us out and I can call you?
Yes, you can. That's why I was going to suggest that. Why don't we table that, and then we do one-on-one on this one. So it can be complicated on situations like that, and that would be great. We'll give you the information. So Edith will put it on the chat right there, and then we'll touch bases.
Great. I'm grateful for your help. Thank you very much, and thank you for taking my questions.
Appreciate it. All right. So the idle. Do we have any more questions? I'm sorry.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We actually have 3 more.
Okay.
Are the reduction of a wages calculator by hourly salary or reduction of hours work?
Okay, so now you're looking into what I said. It's a complicated, because if you have a full-time employee, you determine the full-time employment. If somebody works 32 hours, sometimes it's considered full-time employment. If he works 35 hours, it's full-time employment. Any below 35 is partial or part-time employment. So I don't know how you calculate, how you structure your payroll, but that will be one question for me that I would have with you. On the 25%, that means if, for example, I was making $20 an hour, and then all of a sudden the pandemic hit, and instead of you laying me off and says, Oscar, you're making $20 an hour, and in order for me to keep you, I have to reduce either your hours or your wages. I will definitely say, well, reduce my wages, because that guarantees me the full-time employment. So if that is the case, that you start paying me $15 an hour, obviously you already got me 25%. So if it goes beyond that, then I fall into a different type of category on payroll computation and full-time employment status. That's why I said it's complicated. You can't have it in 1 hour and a half, and we already get into 45 minutes into, I think. So, but I can stay here until you guys want me to. That's fine. But yeah, so you have to get together with your payroll specialist to find out exactly what, according to your company, what constitutes full-time employment. What they say, look at the rule, what consists of full-time employment status. And that's how you have to go by. And now what you determine, then that's the tricky part. Some people, again, full-time employment under 32 hours or less is part-time. Sometimes full-time employment is 32 hours or more, or 35 less, or 35 and more. So I cannot really answer your question because I don't have the details.
Okay. The second question, would you please confirm again what documentations can be provided for 2019 to show as part of the payroll expenses?
Okay, simple as that. The payroll expenses, again, for 2019, if you are using if you use the PPP from last year, the payroll expenses would have been cost of 401k if you did, if you paid healthcare insurance, if you pay salary, wages, whatever. It was very simple. With the new regulation extended to include other costs associated with payroll. So if you're looking at the forgiveness of last year, you have to take only consideration what the guidelines of last year's were. You can't use this year's guidelines, second 2.0, with the first one. So if you're going to get forgiveness from last year, you would have to you have to include your payroll taxes, federal, and state and local taxes, no federal taxes on payroll. That's why you need your 940s or 941s to find out. That's why you need to talk to the specialist. You cannot use workers' comp, you cannot use vision or dental or anything like that. You can use sick leave due to the pandemic or pandemic COVID-19, you can use 401k if you did, your health insurance if you pay the healthcare for your employees, and that's it. That will be your payroll, but not what the new guidelines as of this time around. That's why I said it's good second time around. You can apply for a second loan on PPP and utilize the new guidelines and regulations.
The other question that we have is, if you receive less than $150,000 in the first PPP, are you still required to fill the forgiveness loan application?
Yes, and it's only one form, and I'm going to share that with you guys in a minute.
In this round, only retail, food, hospitals, health and wellness, and personal care?
Yes. Yeah, no retail. Only the people, only the businesses that were really, really affected, which will be hospitality, basically, and healthcare. That will be the ones. Now, there's another program that I'm going to talk about. It is the shutter venue. That means for the businesses that were totally closed. So,
last question about the PPP loan. On previous question, you said you can use company paycheck pay to yourself. Will that be used under that 60% payroll?
yes, yes.
And that was the last question.
All right. Excellent. So the EIDL program, this is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan by the SBA. This is a very good loan to have because it has been extended one more year. Okay. Now, there is a wait right now. If you were denied the first time around, you have 6 months to reconsider the decline or increase of the loan. If you got a loan back then last year, and now you need more capital, you can request for a reconsideration so they can increase the amount. And the reason why is because they want to make sure that people, especially if you already have a loan, get access to the additional monies. Meaning this, right now we're working with some companies, some businesses that got, they said $50,000 last year on EIDL. Well, now they need $25,000 more. So we just sent a request for a reconsideration, the justification, and the loan. And some of them have already been approved, and some of them are in the pipeline, trying to figure out if they can actually do that. Okay. So right now, the Congress allocated $20 billion targeted to low-income communities, rural communities, okay, to help these individuals. Another thing is that if you apply for the advancement, okay, the advance payment of $1,000 to $10,000, if you receive $1,000, this is what they told us. This, I haven't seen it. I haven't proven this to be true, but this is what they told us, that if you apply for the EIDL loan and you get an advancement of $1,000, okay, they're gonna call you to give you the additional $9,000 because they want everybody to get $10,000. Don't take my word for it. The things change every single day. You know, it's the legislature, and it's the government, it's the Congress. So things can change every single day. That's why we ask you and we disclaim that this information was true as of today. Tomorrow, when I wake up, things might change. Okay, so the good thing is that if this is true and if they go ahead and start calling people, reaching out to companies and said, you know what, you applied for an EIDL loan, you only got $2,000, well, here's a check for $8,000 to make the $10,000 that was already promised. Remember, those advancements, they went up pretty quick and they ran out of money for the advancement. Now they injected $20 billion, so hopefully that will be something that we can take advantage of it, okay? So for the targeted EIDL loan on this one, here is that low-income communities, which we already discussed that, low-income communities, that will be rural areas, and what is considered low-income and basically underserved are the minorities, women-owned, veterans, disabled, and communities with less than 50,000 population of less than 50,000 people. Okay, it can demonstrate a reduction of 30% in revenue. Okay, and well, of course, we have to meet the guidelines and we have to meet the low income criteria the same way. But you know what? It is very simple because from 2019 and 2020, we really got impacted. There shouldn't be any reason why we cannot prove that we have 30% reduction on losses. Okay. Another thing that is very important on this one, on the advancements, is that, again, those people who applied for during December 27, $2,000 and did not receive the EIDL advance because the money ran out, those are the people that they're going to start reaching out, supposedly. So if they did that, well, guess what? If you applied last year, you never got your EIDL, but you get your advancement. I'm sorry, if you didn't get your advancement, but you got your EIDL, they might even call you and say, you know what? You apply, you didn't get the advancement, so here is the money. So for this, and the EIDL, all the employee and the companies, they have to have 300 or less fewer employees. Anybody who is a sole proprietor, independent contractor, private, non-profit organizations are eligible for the EIDL. Okay, so apply for the loan. This is a 30-year loan at 3.5%. So it is very doable, very easy, and make sure that you use the calculation and you ask for the right amount based on your business needs. Okay, so there's another thing. This is the support the SBA provides for those people who have a loan. If you have a loan with the SBA, and all of a sudden, you know, they pay for the for a certain time frame for the principal and interest on your loan, they extended due to the CARES Act. They extended that until I think it's another 3 months. Yeah, 3 months starting this month of February. So February, March, and April, they're still going to pay the interest and principal and interest on the loan that you already have. Okay, so it's a very good thing. So if you are going through a loan with the SBA and you just recently got approved, they're going to give you an additional 6 months. So that is a very good thing, and it goes on to September 30th. And it caps at $9,000 a month. So if you have a loan that you have to pay $9,000 a month, just imagine from now on all the way till September, 9 months. So that's a lot of money that the SBA is helping you with. Okay, it is not it's not for everybody, but it's just if you buy your building. That's why it's very important right now. If you're in a position to buy your building, obviously we want you to go ahead and apply for that loan, the 504 loan. So Bankruptcies, there's a special rule on bankruptcies. I'm not going to get into it because I really don't know much about it. So, but there is a help for bankruptcies. So if you have any situation like that, give us a call and we kind of find out on this. Okay. The loan enhancement supplies $2 billion to enhance the SBA, the existing government loans. Okay, so there's more money for, again, for these loans right now. And the guarantee, remember, SBA do not give loans unless it's a disaster loans, which was we're talking about. But if you get to have a loan from a 7(a) program, regular business loan, before they guarantee 80%, now they guarantee 90%. So the protection for you, for the small businesses, has gone up another 10%. So they basically guarantee to the bank that if I don't pay the loan, the SBA will pay the bank 90% of my loan. So meaning that less capital will have to come in from my pocket, less injection. Okay, so the express loan, it's a loan that can actually access to capital, quick loan, turnaround. That's what they call express loan. Well, they injected another $1 million into that. And also they provide additional information on the 504. If you want to buy your building, there is the rates is, I think it's 2.9%. So, and it's a very good opportunity for people that are in that situation. If you have a loan with the SBA, you need some assistance, please give us a call. We can discuss this loan thing here. This is not the platform because I want to take time to cover the information and also walk you through the application. Another assistant that is coming up, okay, that is coming up is the shutter venue operators. What does this mean? This have to go specifically directly with the SBA, okay, with the SBA. Shutter venue operators are like dance halls. There will be bars that really didn't sell any food, theater companies, theaters, movie theaters, and all the agencies that organizations that were not open at all. They were totally shut down. That's what they call the shutter venue operator. These people, obviously, they're gonna get the specific grant. It's not open yet. They're still working the guidelines, so I'm not gonna go through that. But it's going to be good for those venues that never open, okay? One thing I can tell you, if you receive PPP, you cannot get shutter venue operator grant. Now the grant, it's a grant. The PPP, it's a loan that can be forgiven. The shutter venue, it's a grant that is going to come out shortly. They said it's already out, but unfortunately, there was some other stuff that came out. So right here is who might be eligible. This is not the whole list, but these are the people or organizations or venues: live venue operators, promoters, theatrical producers, live performers, museums, zoos, aquariums, motion pictures, talent representatives. So all these people that really didn't have an opportunity to practice their business. So with that, I believe that we are ending this part of the presentation. I know I gave you a lot of information. It's a 30,000 height overview of the programs and loans and opportunities for your small business. So that's the reason why it's important. Connect with your local chamber. The Los Angeles Latino Chamber of Commerce can be your door to a lot of resources, information, technical assistance for small businesses. So I'm going to take some questions while I get prepared for to walk you through the application, the forgiveness loan application.
We have Pau Avila. If you can open your microphone, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Oscar, my
Yes,
question is, I just got knocked off the screen right now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
I'd like to get a list. I'll put my email there because all I get from banks to borrow money, I got excellent credit, collateral, is nothing but bureaucracy. And when I go into a bank and mention the PP loans or the IDL loans, it just seems, I've got bad breath because they run away from me and nobody wants to deal with you in a banking transaction with that type of loan. The conventional stuff, yeah. But is there a special list of banks that you can go to that just deal with this particular loan?
Yes, definitely. We have some banks. I'd like to talk to you more further, Paul, because I want to know why are they giving the runaround, or what kind of red tape are we talking about?
No, no, and I'll say this publicly because, first of all, I'm a big supporter of Wells, big supporter of them,
Okay.
and I have money in that bank. I like the bank, I love it, but on the other hand, they don't lend you any money, and
Yeah, exactly.
you know, and not to talk bad about Wells, but because they've been pretty good to me over the past 30 years, but
Yeah.
um, when the banking people see that, they don't want to deal with you. It seems that their fund is exhausted, and they're telling you, just like I'm telling you, Oscar, try to find another bank that'll entertain you. And I don't
Yeah.
have a problem with that. I don't. Believe me, money's money, and I don't have any loyalty to money. But my question to you is, if you know why, or do the little banks specialize in government loans? That's my question to you.
Okay, all depends on what I like to understand more, and then that's why I like to have continue this conversation, Paul, because I like to see the nature of your business and why is it? I mean, the banks basically. Uh, I'm not against banks either, but there's a lot of red tape. Whether you borrow $1,000 or $1 million, is the same paperwork. So obviously they want a paper, and small lenders and community development institutions, they don't really, they do need documentation, of course, but we focus on the story and your business plan, projections, how you're going to make money, how you're going to pay, who's your client, and all that stuff, because that's what it takes. So I'd like to continue this conversation separately, and please send us an email. The information, it's right in the chat. And Dean
Is
is
this
going to
you,
put.
Oscar? The 916-123-4567?
No, sir. No, that's not my phone. My
Oh,
regular phone. And it's not my regular phone. This is just for illustration purposes and training purposes. But give us a call or send an email. You can either send it to consulta, which is a specific email to businesses to talk about their businesses, to provide consultation. Consulta at cahcc.com. Edith will put it on the chat for everybody to see, and you can actually connect with us that way if you
let
want.
me call this back to you, Oscar. Consulta@cahcc.com.
Correct.
Okay, and attention to you. Will you answer the email?
Yes, sir. It only goes to me and Edith.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. It's not a bank. It goes to me, except I have a million emails, personal emails from other sources. So I just want to make sure that if I distinguish consulta, that means somebody needs help.
Sure, I understand. Thank you.
Another way of saying SOS, right?
Right.
We
All
also
right.
have
Go ahead,
we have
Edith.
Ken with some questions.
All right,
I'd just
Ken, what's
like
going
to
on?
comment on what he was just saying about Wells Fargo. I have obtained numerous SBA loans over the years, and the big banks, unless you're super, super tight with somebody in there and you're super big, they tend to shy away from it. SBA loans are more work and they make less money. So you're best to go to a smaller bank, and I'm sure you guys have relationships with that and can point the previous gentleman in the right direction. But getting a SBA through Wells is incredibly difficult. So just a comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. And I just want everybody to make sure that to know that I want you to know that I'm working with some CDFIs, the community development financial institutions, that would actually work with small businesses, that really micro small businesses, and not to shy away from banks, because banks are great. I have a great relationship with them. But sometimes it's a little bit more time consuming. And again, they wanted A papers, that's fine. We have A papers clients, but we also have people with challenging records, credit, and capital, and so forth. So that's our goal. The California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce, of course, we are advocating at the legislature, at the capital level, regarding issues and bills that affect you as a small business, and also your employees. So we're constantly advocating, and that's the reason why I'm in a crusade to connect with all the chambers in the state of California to make sure that all of you small businesses have a portal to go to, and you can actually have and talk to somebody to help you navigate through the process. I can't promise to help every single one of them because everybody's issues and situations are different, but we are going to do our best. We have great consultants that can help with all this. So, all right, next question.
On a 24-week period, I will report and ask for forgiveness on payroll cost for full 24 hours on the same employees?
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, I'm going to go through the application right now, the one that it's came out. So this is the official form right now for businesses. So sit tight and I'll get through it in a minute. Go ahead. Next.
There's another question. It says, our income dropped tremendously and wasn't making enough money to pay for payroll. However, we didn't want to let employees go, so we used our business saving money to pay for our employees' salary. We didn't think this was going to last this long. Is there any way to make up for the loss of the money?
No, unfortunately, they cannot be retro. All these loans and grants, they cannot be retro. However, you can also, you can apply for the grant, you can apply for the EIDL, you can apply for the PPP. So while you cannot recuperate the money that you already spent, I commend you for supporting your employees. Thank you very much. It is something to admire. Thank you very much for doing that. But unfortunately, you cannot go retro on this money that you already spent. It's from here on forward.
Okay. Kyla is confused. What do you mean we cannot apply for the EIDL advance? Is that a typo?
No. The advance, when you apply now, okay, the government allocated $20 billion aside to reach out to those individuals who applied last year that did not receive the EIDL advance, the $1,000 or $10,000. The word is that originally, the deal was that if you apply for EIDL, you would get a $10,000 advancement. That's what it was. Then they changed it along the way to state that it was $1,000 per employee. Then the money ran out and nobody got any advancement. They want to make it good for all of you guys and says, now we're going to go back to the original offer that if you apply for an EIDL, you would get up to $10,000 advancement. So if you got 1,000, you're probably going to get contacted by the SBA and says, okay, now you're going to get $9,000. Warning right here. Be careful with the emails that you will be receiving and who do you answer on how you open these emails, because a lot of fraud is going to be happening with this new offer. People are going to be telling you, well, congratulations, you're entitled to the $9,000 or $10,000 for the advancement. Please give us your information, your bank and all that stuff. And remember, SBA, emails from SBA will always have the extension sba.gov. sba.gov. That's Oscar at sba.gov. That will be a legitimate email. If you're in doubt, don't open it, don't do anything. Give us a call and say, hey, is this email okay? Because understand, if somebody addresses you by your last name, it's not a good email. Okay, if they said Garcia, congratulations, it's not gonna work. I'm gonna be suspicious. Be suspicious of everything that is happening. Be careful. There will be a lot of fraud with this thing because it's free money, and who doesn't want to get free money? We all gotta want to get free money. So
we have another question. How do you apply for that SBA debt relief?
Okay, the SBA debt relief, it's a program, is that you don't apply, well, you applied, but your lender, if you already have a loan with the SBA, if you already have a loan with your lender, and it's a SBA loan, that's the way it has to be under that umbrella. An SBA loan 7A, which is small business loan, or a 504, whatever that is, it's for a building, if you buy a new building, construction or something like that, and you are in contract with your lender and they've been paying the principal and interest, they're gonna extend it another 3 months, starting February. If you're in the process of funding a loan through your lender and it's an SBA loan, they're gonna pay all the way to September, the principal and interest of that loan. So you're gonna get approved, and you don't have to pay a penny until September because the SBA is covering your payment. That's the best deal. That's wonderful. That's great. So that's what it means. Next.
Okay. The next question is party rental considered as SBO business?
Yes, definitely. It's part of the 72 party rentals.
Does SBA loan cover the construction loan for your private raw land?
I don't get that question. If it's going to be a construction, obviously you're gonna have to have all your business plan. You're gonna have your business. You're gonna have the guidelines. You're gonna have the engineering. They're gonna ask you all that about building your building, and that's gonna be a loan. And it has to have a breakdown of all the expenses regarding materials, regarding workforce licenses and permits, regulations, guidelines. You're gonna have to provide all that information if it's a building, a 504 loan for building.
Okay. My business generate 3.2 million in 2019, but dropped to 900K in 2020. Does the 3.2 disqualify me from the California Relief Grant?
Yeah, you don't qualify for that because you made over $2.5 million.
And that's the last question.
All right, thank you. What we have in my screen, you're seeing the borrower, the Paycheck Protection Program, and this was revised January 19. We just got it. I just got it yesterday, and this is what it looks like. If you got a loan of $150,000 or less, it is just this one page certification. On the top of it, as you can see, it's got my business number, my business information, and also what they added right here is the NICE code. This is the codes for the industry, okay? For example, right now, and I'll show you how to get this information. I'm a consulting company. I'm a sole proprietor, a BizWorks, and so forth. So I'm gonna stop sharing for a second, and then I'm gonna go into my NICE codes right here. Let's see. Can you see my screen? Can you see the NICS search?
Yes.
Okay, as you can see right here, it says business consulting. Okay, business consulting, it's a lot of industry. The industry is big, right? But see, my business consulting, it's about business startups and consulting services. So right here, we look at, my number is 541-611. That is the NICE code that I'm gonna use, okay? If somebody has right here, let's say a barbershop or a billiards or catering. So if I wanna use catering, I'm gonna go ahead and put catering, and it's gonna give me the information for catering, caterers. It provides me this number. So this is the number that you're gonna provide in your application, all right? So all you gotta do, if you never done this, all you gotta do is this, type NAICS, and it says NICS code, and it will take you specifically, it's the #1 hit on your search. Click on that one, it will take you to the key search. Go ahead and use this. I use barbershop. I say put search, and it says right there, barbershop. Boom, 812-111. All right, so I'm gonna start sharing on that, and then I'm gonna go back to my application right here. All right, so this is the forgiveness application right here. So I'm gonna put the NICS code, put your employer identification number. You find this on the right corner, upper right hand corner of your income taxes on the declaration. It says right there. Either if you have an ITIN number, then you put your ITIN number. Social Security, if you never got an employer identification, it will be right here. Make sure you have the right phone number. Don't change the phone number. Use the business phone number all the time so they can reach you. Email, make sure that you check your spam. Make sure you check your emails. Check them in the morning, check them in the midday, and check them before you go to bed. That's my practice. That way you know for a fact who sends you an email and so forth. Now here you're gonna define. Obviously, they're gonna be using this form for the second round because it's already here. Second draw PPP loan. Well, I'm applying for the first draw application. Make sure you have the right information on the SBA PPP loan number. It's different than the lender. Okay, it's very different than the lender. Don't confuse that one. They're two different numbers. The PPP loan is not the application, it's when you sign the contract, it has a number right there. Make sure you get that. Then you get the lender. Every lender has in the application and the contract, it has the lender PPP number that they assigned you. Okay, the amount that they lend you, for me, was 3 months of $5,000 at 2.5%, was $37,500. How do I get to that? It states that a person cannot pay more than $100,000. Well, guess what? I'm a consultant. I make good money. I pay myself $100,000 salary every single year. How do I do that? I went ahead and divide 100,000 into 12, and that gets me the monthly payment. Okay, and I pay myself $5,000. On this case, a scenario. I'm using the new scenario. I pay myself $5,000. Okay, and then I have 3 individuals right here. All right, so that's $37,500. Understand this part right here also. The loan distribution, that's the date that your loan appear in your bank account. All right, because that's the beginning of the 8 weeks or the 24 weeks. All right, so when did I get it? 5, I used 8 weeks, fine, definitely. To June 30th. Here, I didn't get no more than $2 million, so I don't check it. $37,500, that's the loan amount that they loan me. Amount that I'm asking for forgiveness is the full amount, $37,500. Right here is the certification. It's here that you comply with the rules and guidelines of the PPP. Okay, the information that you provide is true and correct. And guess what? Boom, you're done. Sign it, print your name, put today's date, and that's it. That's how easy they made it for the forgiveness in comparison to the last form. I would encourage you to go ahead and complete this form, especially because that's the best way. This is our voice in small businesses. This is our voice to the government saying, okay, your business served how many veterans? They keep track of all this. Are we serving veterans? Are we serving minorities? Are we serving disabled people? Are we saving spouses? Whatever. It is very important for us. So I'm an advocate that always complete this form. Unfortunately, well, a lot of people don't do it. It's not mandatory, okay? But it's voluntary, this information. Once you do this, that's it, you're done. See how easy the forgiveness form is? Your information, your business, important numbers, the loan, and the amount. That's it. They don't have to tell you, okay, do you use it for 60% for this, 60% for that? They don't ask you, but I encourage you, keep records of all this, just in case there's an audit. The older form, it did require information on how much was your payroll, how much was your interest, how much was your operating costs, how much was your loan amount, how much did you pay on interest on your loan, and so forth. This one, half a sheet, 2 certifications, 2 initials, sign it. That's how simple this form is. All right. So let me see. Then, any questions on this? I'm gonna go ahead while I'm looking for the other one.
Where we can find this form to give to others?
Okay, this form, you will get it basically on the application right here. You will get it right here. Let me see, I'm looking.
Do you know when the banks will be beginning to offer the application?
You know what, I don't, because we just got it yesterday, and according to some people that I've been talking to, this form was not available. Not yet. So I'm assuming that they are going to get this form pretty soon.
Does the payroll amount need to match the forgiveness amount?
Oh yeah, definitely. If that's that you want everything to be forgiven to you, yeah, I would definitely encourage you to go ahead and include that amount.
And that's all the questions that we have.
Perfect. Let me go back a little bit on the application, on the PPP application. Any other questions?
Does the payroll amount, well, I already asked that question. They're wondering if we can email the form.
Yes, it's right here in the application right here. You're going to get it electronically. And this is the new application that the banks are putting right here. It's very simple. It's not that difficult. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
You see Paycheck Protection Program second draw?
Correct.
Okay, well, see right here. You would have to go ahead, and this is where you fill the information on your bank, personal information. This is your average payroll right here. 2.5%. If you don't qualify because you're not a restaurant, you're not in healthcare and so forth, then you get 2.5. But if you're a restaurant and the healthcare, then you're gonna multiply your average by 3.5. Okay, number of employees, okay, that you have in your company. And the purpose of the loan, payroll costs, rent, and utilities, and cover expenses. I will put this one because if I ask for a loan for the idle loan, I want to use that money to operate my business, not for payroll. I want to make sure that everything is forgiven, okay? So this is for the second round. This is for the second round only, all right? So they ask you right here, put your first round PPP number. That's why when I say you must go ahead and know the number. Don't confuse the number with the lender. It is your PPP SBA loan number. So you have to put it right here. If you're applying for the second round, you have to put the number of the first round right here. Then you're looking at the quarters, 20 quarters right here. Okay. Right here, 2020 quarters versus the 2019. Here, they put in second quarter. That means they're saying from for April through June 30th. April 1st to June 30th, 2020. April 1st to June 2019. That was the quarter that was more impacted by the coronavirus because we were totally shut down. Okay, so you're gonna put your gross receipts. That's the reason why you need your financials and your income taxes from 2019 and your financials or end of the year financials for your business. Put your operating, your ownership right here, your employer ID number, your address, and the disclosures right here from 1 through 5 is basically, except for 4. Say if you got any a loan for idle before, it says there. But the other one is that whether you had any felonies, whether you were convicted, whether you have committed fraud, whether you're going to be using this information properly, whether you defaulted, all that stuff. So it's very, very simple questions, yes and no, and most of them is going to be no, except for one that it might said, did you get within money or something like that from the SBA? That's it.
Oscar,
You acknowledge this acknowledgement that you're going to utilize the funds properly according to the guidelines, that you are giving the information to the best of your ability, that you understand the forgiveness clauses and the process of utilizing the money and so forth. So yes.
we have 3 questions.
Okay.
One of them,
Go ahead, Edith.
okay. The bank who processed the PPP application is sending me a form that requires documentation to be uploaded. Do I have to submit the forgiveness form through them?
Yes, yes, and that's what I said. Every bank is using, to my knowledge, they're doing it whatever they want as far as asking you for documentation. You have to comply to that because when you sign the contract, you say that you were going to provide information according to the bank and according to the document that you sign. That's why I said right now, this is what they're using. They're using their platform and they have the prerogative, they have the permission, let's say, to ask for whatever verification. And the reason why is because they have to forgive the loan first to you. And then they have to make sure that the government is going to reimburse them for the amount of your loan. So it is not something that, okay, you know what, if I forgive you today, it's secure, it's sure. No, they have to make sure that they have all the information. So if they require you some information, provide it. Otherwise, they might not forgive your loan and then you might lose the window. For a lot of people that received the money in May of last year, come April, the 10 months already done, and they're gonna be telling you, in 1st of May, you're gonna be paying this much money on your loan. You're gonna freak out. It says, how am I gonna pay $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month? Well, we need to get on with the bank, call them up and says, I need to start the forgiveness process. Don't be among the very last people because you're gonna be in a rush. So might as well get it right now. And if they said, go ahead and complete the new form, they will send it to you. Okay, or they will, Bank of America will direct you to their portal. At their portal, you will see the guidelines and then you will see these forms as well. I believe Wells Fargo sent something like that, and they send the form to the clients without the client asking. So,
Oscar, if people didn't apply for the first round, can they apply for the second round of PPP, and how they can apply?
the same way, you don't have to apply for the second round. You still apply for the first round. The first and second round of PPP, the first round applies to you. You can apply for the first round, and the first round is basically the same application. Let me see if I can show you the application of first round. The second round is for people who actually applied for a loan, a PPP loan before. And the people that apply for a PPP before, and they're going to get another loan. That's it. That's the only, that's the difference. Okay. So you can apply for the PPP first round. I cannot find it now. Any other questions right now? While I'm
Is
looking.
there a process for the PPP one forgiveness? Is there a form?
This is the one. This is the one that we just went through right now.
And can you have your hand raised? Can you please open your microphone?
Yeah, so did I just understand that if I received a loan last May, I actually got mine in mid-April, I don't have payments for 12 months because the loan documents say different. Did I understand that right? That no payments? Okay.
Well, it should be 10 months. That's what we understood. But if the loan document, what does the loan document says?
I don't have it in front of me, but I believe the original one said 5 months they were going to start. But this is back in April of last year when I obtained the loan.
Okay, did they send you a letter stating when, because the banks are pretty good at notifying the clients when the payment are going to start. If you got the money in April, obviously, then you look 10 months from April, which would have been basically next month you will be paying.
Right.
All right,
In a week from now, it'd be due. Appreciate that. Thank you.
you're welcome.
How
Eddie,
people
can
can,
can I ask you just, I need to step up for just a second. Can
okay,
you go ahead and tell them how can they get in touch with us and provide information regarding our services?
sure.
I'm gonna go ahead and let me just put this real quick.
So if you guys need assistance with the application process or anything with your business, either if you want to start a business or you want to expand your business, we have business consultants that they can assist you through the process. We cannot complete the application for you if you guys are applying for business license, or if you are looking for a loan, we can guide you through the process and we can let you know what are the requirements based on your business needs. We can look for those loans, and we can let you know what is the documentation that you will be needing and how you can get ready to apply for the loan. Business consultants can help you with creating a business plan. And as I mentioned before, they can assist you with the application process to apply for the business loan. I'm going to be putting in the chat room our contact information. There's going to be my email address, edith@cahcc.com or consulta@cahcc.com. Any questions, any concerns, please let us know. We can help you and we can answer all the questions that you may have, and we can pair you up with a business consultant. So I'll be putting my information in the chat room so you guys can contact the California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Edith. Appreciate it. Okay, let's continue with the questions, please.
So how people can get the application for the PPP for the first round?
Okay, it is included in this application. It's got the direct link. So you will get this application following after, this presentation following after this webinar.
I use the SBA lender match system, and not qualifying lender has
Okay.
responded to my loan requests. What should I do?
They didn't respond to your loan request, you said?
There was no match.
There was no match because there's no one in your area, or?
Most likely. Yes,
Okay,
most likely.
give us a call. Give us a call. We'll connect you with the lender. Send us an email. We'll send you the link for the lender.
I think this is another comment. This person is saying my PPP loan was more than 150K.
Yeah, if the loan was more than $150,000, you have to go through the process of forgiveness, meaning that you have to provide all the records on your payroll. You have to provide all the expenses on your operating costs, and it goes into details regarding the employees that you had at the beginning of the period and employees that you had at the end of the period. How many full-time, how many part-time, and how was the compensation if there was any variations on the payroll. There's something that you have to work it out with your payroll company or specialist, and also your accountant or bookkeeper.
Okay, if I use a Square Capital, and they still don't have their loan forgiveness process. Does that sound right?
It could be, and it could be not. It could be the fact that they might have been waiting for this form. Remember, they've been talking about this one-page form for a while, since last year. They were saying, yeah, you know what, we're going to go ahead, instead of forgiving 50, went out 150, but they were waiting for the change of presidents and government, and now we have it. So they released this form, so I'm pretty sure, but I will definitely contact Square again to find out if they already had the form or if you can apply for a second PPP loan. All right, Square is I think they don't lend the money. Um, uh, it's a platform where you can go and apply and they find the lender, so they connect with the lenders. So they were pretty quick, but I understand they're not really quick or friendly when it comes to customer service. That's what I hear. You're not the only one that has mentioned Square.
Ken, I believe you have another question.
Yeah, so are you going to go over the form for the over $150,000 loans? It looked like you brought it up on the screen and it looked like it had been revised January 8th, 2021. Are we going to be going over that form today?
No, Ken, that was the application for a loan, for the PPP.
Okay. So what about, are you going to provide guidance, or is that something I call you separate if you received a loan over 150,000? And is there a new form? We got one months and months ago, and we kept hearing there was going to be a new form for over $150,000 loans. We haven't seen one yet. Is there one? And is that something you can help us with?
Unfortunately, again, for the one over $150,000, you have to talk to your payroll specialist and your accountant on that.
Yeah, I mean, I can compile all that data and
Yeah.
stuff, but
Well,
that's not one you're going to be going over today. Is that correct?
Correct. However, I can tell you the most significant parts of that form is that if you had employees and you did not change the number of employees, you did not lay off any employees, or even if you laid off employees, but you brought them back once you got the money.
Right.
And you didn't decrease their salaries by more than 25%. And if you did not increase their wages and didn't pay more than $100,000 to those employees, but then you're going to be basically just a computation of that form.
Right. So is there a new form? Because the old form actually lists the 75% on there. So I'm wondering, is there a new form for the over 150,000 forgiveness?
No, there will not be another new form because you're under the old regulation of 75%.
So
However,
I must have misunderstood my answer earlier, because I thought I asked if the 60% applied to the first and second. I must have misunderstood. I thought it applied to both, but now I think I'm hearing you didn't hear that right, Ken, that the 75 and all the rules that came out the first time still apply to the first, and the 60% only applies to the second. Is that correct now?
for right now, I'm going to say yes. I want to check on that one, Ken.
Okay.
Because there was a talk, and that's what I meant probably to say.
Okay. I understand. I mean, this is a lot of information. You're a fountain of information where I am personally grateful for you, and I'll be looking forward to talking to you further in the next few days or next few weeks, and appreciate you much.
Definitely, but I'm gonna take note on that because last year that's what they were saying when they went into the second part of adapting the 8 weeks to 24, and they lower it from 75 to 60%. So I'm gonna make sure that that I get that information. Who did you bank with? Who did you get your PPP from? Hello, did I lose myself or I lose?
No.
Me,
Oh,
I'm sorry, First Century Bank.
First Century Bank, okay. And you're in the LA area, right?
Yes, I'm in Whittier, California, Santa Fe Springs, California.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna try to get you an answer on that one for the next time we talk. I'll have an answer.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ken. All right, Edith, ¿alguien más? Somebody else?
No, no, that's it.
All right, well, if there's no more questions, then well, this will conclude our walkthrough presentation on all the information that it's available to you guys. I know it's a lot of information. It's hard to keep up with it, but we're diligent and we're doing our best to keep you and bring you updated information up to today regarding this type of loans and resources for you and economic resources. So remember, reach out to the chamber, continue to follow the Los Angeles Latino Chamber of Commerce, and of course, the California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Follow us also on Facebook to give us likes, follow us so you can get all the latest information regarding any type of resources and so forth. So with that said, Daryl and Olivia, can you stay behind after we finish this presentation to debrief real quick? But for all of you guys, I want to thank you, and Olivia and Daryl, final words, please.
Yes,
Yes.
Daryl?
Yes, I would like to say thank you very much for all you 30 participants that hung in there. It's a lot of valuable information that's going to really help you get over the edge. And again, we're very grateful that you hung in there. Thank you so much. And Olivia will close it.
Yeah, so we are grateful for our partnership with the California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, to Oscar and the team for updating us on the PPP and other business resources. As Oscar mentioned, this session will be recorded and it would be uploaded to our website at LALCC.org. We will also be sharing the presentation, so some of you who had those questions, you'll be able to pinpoint it right away, including the documents that are necessary and the deadlines for the programs. So please take advantage of their staff. They will be able to help you, and if you want to write down these contacts, so it'll be consulta at cahcc.com and Edith at cahcc.com, or you could call them at 916-444-2221. Please have patience. I know they're overwhelmed with calls and with appointments, but we are here to help you. Small businesses is the core of our membership and our community, and we are grateful for the help that we receive. So thank you for your participation, and we look forward to seeing you at our next event. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you staying with us.
Thank you.
And until next time. All right. So just